Four news stories for you. Firstly, was the African Union has condemned sanctions imposed on Eritrea. A resolution has been adopted condemning unilateral coercive actions like sanctions on African countries. We do know that Eritrea is under sanctions from the US and the EU. Secondly, viewers, a high-level Somaliland delegation is due to arrive in Taiwan after a few hours. A very important visit. Both countries are in quest of recognition, and both countries are facing pressures. Thirdly, viewers, Amhara regional government has deployed Amhara special forces to Kamise. Today, we saw pictures showing the arrival of Amhara special forces in Kamise, Oromia special zone. Why is that Amhara special forces are being deployed to Kamise in Oromia special zone? And lastly, there's two updates from Somali region of Ethiopia. A politician in prison has been released, and a crackdown against Prosperity Party officials and some journalists has been confirmed. Firstly, viewers, African Union, which concluded its summit yesterday, has condemned unilateral actions, coercive measures against African countries. The resolution adopted by African Union condemns unilateral actions against African countries. It means that African Union is condemning sanctions imposed on Eritrea too. Eritrea is of this position that sanctions imposed from the US and the EU are unilateral, and these are coercive measures. Now, African Union is backing Eritrean position that, and African Union says that these sanctions be lifted. Why did the EU and the US impose sanctions on Eritrea? Mostly because of human rights abuses. What has African Union done to stop human rights abuses in Africa? Has African Union imposed any actions, any sanctions, any measures against those countries which are involved in human rights abuses? So if a world is taking some action, if the EU and the US are taking some action, African Union is opposing it. African Union must prove itself an effective forum. If you don't want external interference in African affairs, then African Union must prove itself to be a competent body which can handle African affairs. But you see what's happening. Coups are rampant all over Africa. Human rights abuses are prevalent. And African Union is silent. It does not want action against human rights abuses committed in Africa. Secondly, a high-level Somaliland delegation is due to arrive in Taiwan. We know that China says that Taiwan is part of China. Only 15 countries, small countries in the world, recognize Taiwan as a country. Countries like Haiti and other small countries. Somaliland is still unrecognized. China does not want Taiwan to have diplomatic relations with other countries. And China, which has huge presence in Africa, does not want African countries to have diplomatic ties with Taiwan. But Somaliland, since it is unrecognized, so it is trying to strengthen its ties with Taiwan. A high-level Somaliland delegation comprising a foreign minister, commerce minister, and other ministers is due to arrive in Taiwan tomorrow. Now, this move will definitely anger China, and China will reconsider its plans regarding investments in Somaliland. China will not invest in Somaliland if Somaliland develops ties with Taiwan. Both countries, Taiwan and Somaliland, they established their offices in their countries in 2020. Since then, they have strengthened their relation. Let's see how China responds and how Somalia responds to this visit of Somaliland's ministers to Taiwan. Thirdly, viewers, Amhara regional government is deploying special forces to Kamise. Kamise is in Oromia special zone of Amhara region. You can see pictures on your screen. The pictures show arrival of Amhara special forces in Kamise. Why is that Amhara region deploying special forces to Kamise? What we have learned, viewers, is that there is still presence of Oromo Liberation Army in Oromia special zone. Yes, Tigray forces withdrew from Oromia special zone, North Shore zone, but in some pockets still there is presence of Oromo Liberation Army in Oromia special zone. That is why Amhara special forces are being deployed to push OLA out of Oromia special zone. Lastly, viewers, two updates from Somali region of Ethiopia. Firstly, a politician who was in prison has been released. His name is Abdi Fatah. He was released today. We got confirmation. He was arrested a few weeks ago. He was accused of being involved in anti-state activities. And lastly, viewers, a confirmation of my yesterday's news story. Yesterday I told you about a crackdown by Somali police against some dissidents of Prosperity Party, some disgruntled members of Somali Prosperity Party. They tried to hold a press briefing against President Mustafa's government. The press briefing was stormed by security forces. We have now got confirmation that the press briefing was stormed, and some journalists who were there to cover were also taken into custody, though later they were released. What we have learned is that Mohiuddin of RTN TV and other journalists of Royal TV, they were taken into custody, but they were later released. So confirmation that Somali regional police yesterday tried to disrupt a political gathering, a press briefing of some Prosperity Party officials. There are definitely some splits in Somali Prosperity Party. But can these splits be a challenge for Mustafa Umar's government? That remains to be seen. I think for watching.